control, kind of aggro control. The recipe for that is to distill the most efficient and best counter magic and burn in the format and best creatures in the blue-red colors. This allowed me to get both black, which might be one of the best cards in the entire format. Blue is just the best color. Blue, main deck red black is right. Blood Moon. And the one hit card I really wanted to run, but I couldn't make room for.
Ready, welcome back to the booth. Brian David Marshall, another Hall of Famer. They're running around like they're like flies around here.
They are. The Patcock's wedding party arrived. I guess Josh Layton's not a Hall of Famer
Not a
yet.
Hall of Famer yet, but we all have him written in pencil.
We do. For it's just like, I mean, what year do I get to vote for this guy? If I knew which year, I would happily use the ink as well.
It's the year after this one coming out.
Okay, that sounds about right.
It's the class of 2017.
That makes sense.
But we get to vote for Yuya this year. We get to
finally
talk about Yuya this year. Yeah.
Talk about it. Pro Tour top 8s are so overrated as a litmus test. How can you not vote for Yuya?
I am almost certainly voting for you, but I'm just saying we get to talk about it.
Yeah, it will be a conversation.
There will certainly be some discussion when you roll in.
Granted, but the fact that Shota got in is a great sign for Yuya.
Yeah. But
Yuya's resume is better than Shota's, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Playing in his 4th straight World Championship this coming week.
The only guy to make all 4 of the new World Championships.
Yes.
The only guy.
Yeah, I was talking to Reed about it because Reed
he had 3.
Reed was running.
So did Raptor. So did Josh Layton.
Yeah, and Reed's like, I get to stay home and watch it, and that's going to be awesome.
He also gets to play Vintage. Reed Duke is in the house playing Vintage as we speak. I saw him storm off while I was waiting my turn in the booth.
So you don't get to play Vintage.
I know, it's sad.
But you've sent your cards out into the universe to play.
Yes, my cards are out there playing. I've got a couple of horses. I've got 2 decks, and then I lent Reed a card. So
okay,
I got 3. I'm claiming it. Crucially, card number like 59 in his deck is mine. Also, I didn't even remember this, but his Dark Rituals are signed by me.
Oh, very nice.
That felt cool. That's why I'd wander by and see cards I've signed years ago and forgotten about.
But the format at hand right now, of course, is Legacy.
Indeed.
And we are going to be watching. So what's your take on this matchup? Lands.
What? Yes.
Versus Omnitell.
This matchup is so bad for lands that he has a transformational sideboard just to have a chance. That's what the Trinisphere and the Spheres are for, right?
And so what is he transforming into?
Well, he's
a Trinisphere deck?
Yes. Yes. He's trying to transform into a stacks deck, like a workshop, like Vintage style. You can't cast any of your awesome spells because they all cost 3 now. I mean,
and then he's just still looking to buy enough time to get his Thespian Stage, Merit Lage thing going.
Which isn't spells. Doesn't take any mana. I mean, takes its normal cost. Unaffected by Trinisphere. So yeah, he's
and he's happy to pay 3 for a Life from the Loam.
It costs 2 anyway.
Yeah.
His cards are kind of fair.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think this matchup's pretty bad. Akash Naidu's deck puts an Omniscience into play, and there's no way for the lands deck to really interact with this, right?
Okay, well,
are they ready?
The players are ready. Let's send it down to the floor for the semifinals here at the Legacy Championships on Eternal Weekend. All right, boom, here we are, semifinals. Brian David Marshall, Randy Bueller. We are watching Akash Naidu on your left playing Omnitell. He's got an island. He's got a preordained, the Tell of Omnitell, yeah.
It's the Telltale. Yeah, that's the deck that plays preordained in Basic Island. God, this deck's great. I mean, it used to be this kind of goofy, intricate contraption that you'd stitch together with Dream Halls and whatnot, but ever since Dig Through Time was printed, it's just a much more lean and focused deck. Just get the Show and Tell, get the Omniscience, get the Emrakul.
Now, I would say that the lands deck is focused, but I would not call it a lean deck.
Fair.
There's the turn 1 exploration.
That's exciting. He may be able to get 6 permanents into play before Emrakul attacks him. One of them might even be Mazavith. That'll work once.
Yeah, but Force of Will on the exploration says, nope, I don't want you to be able to get out to a mana advantage on me.
I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, but like, what else is Akash going to Force of Will?
Sure.
What does he care about? He cares about Kevin accelerating to a super quick Merit Lage. Even the Even the wastelands from Kevin King's deck don't do anything.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
islands.
how bad are his wastelands?
I mean, they still tap for colorless.
So we already have a game result from the back table.
Really?
Bob Huang won game 1 in the Grixis Delver mirror against Kyle Roan.
Okay.
So, all right, so Thespian stage is the play instead of the wasteland.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a race from Kevin King's perspective. I mean, we're joking about how little interaction he has, but he does have the ability to win the game in 4 land drops and an attack step, right?
All right, but there is show and tell.
What did you bring for show and tell, little Timmy? Did you bring all the knowledge in the known multiverse?
Because I did.
It is. I brought a wasteland. It taps for colorless. All right.
Yes, a free dig through time.
That's sort of good news for Kevin King,
yes.
right? It's not Cutting Wish for Eladamri's Call for Emrakul. He doesn't actually have it yet.
But whatever 2 cards he gets here, he can just cast.
But like he can whiff. Or he can find
get an
Emrakul.
Emrakul, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically Kevin survives this attack at 5, but with no permanents. I do not expect him to play this out.
I can't even
shiny.
Look. I actually can't look at Emrakul.
It's a very shiny Emrakul. It's got a Medusa thing going on. Man, not even sure what Kevin's thinking about. You even get the trigger for the Time Walk. Casting with Omniscience feels like you're cheating it into play, but no, you're just casting it for free. So triggers, gets the Time Walk. Oh, crop rotation for what? Mazavith? He doesn't have a land that does anything here, does he? Like Annihilator destroys whatever his plan is.
Right.
He needs like an Icy Manipulator land or something. I mean, you can target it with Mazavith, but the Annihilator trigger is gonna wreck him.
He's like, I cast crop rotation.
Intuition for Force of Wills. I don't know what you're up to. Don't care. You care about this spell resolving. Therefore, I don't want it to resolve. Yeah, Intuition for 3 Force of Wills. Are we missing a land that actually helps?
Doesn't matter. It shows them the Force of Will is even better when you can just play Force of Will for free without pitching anything. Thanks to the Omniscience. So game 1 goes to the Omnitell player. This is both how you and Bob called this matchup. So now talk a little bit about what you think. So you've been handed this deck. Someone's like, here, Randy, play this deck.
Sure.
Your first round, you're playing against Omnitell. You lose game 1.
Yep.
Tell me what you're going to do in this with this sideboard.
Right, I'm bringing in 4 Trinispheres. Not only does Trinisphere have the potential to stop Akash from going off, but Akash will play Show and Tell. The thing about the sort of, you know, modernized, leaner version of the Omnitell deck is it always plays a Show and Tell. That's how it gets Omniscience into play. So if you have a spell that you can show down and thwart that plan, like Omniscience comes down, but I play a Trinisphere, you still have to pay 3.
Right.
I assume that has to be how that works, right?
Yes.
You still have to pay the 3 mana for the Trinisphere, so you can't just go off and play your Emrakul. Like, you get to buy some time that way.
Does that also work with Sphere of Resistance?
I think the Sphere of Resistance, I suspect Sphere makes you pay 1.
All right, we'll find out.
1 seems payable.
Sure, but I mean, if you go on turn 3, you just like go Show and Tell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, you know, the Mox Diamonds, you try to race to get out those early disruptive effects and then hope that buys you enough time to get your combo off. The other thing you have going on here, if you're Kevin King, is 2 copies of Choke. Woo. Yeah, I mean, Akash has got those basic islands. They're really nice for surviving wastelands. They're not as nice against Choke.
Right, we saw the wasteland. We saw, you know, Kevin King. He's like, I'm not going to play this stupid wasteland. It actually does nothing.
Yeah.
You know, there's, well, I mean, there is a City of Traders, and I guess it's just the City of Traders.
What, in terms of?
And he has 2 volcanic islands.
But they're still islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 lands that are islands, and then the 3 City of Traders.
Yeah.
Now, what Akash doesn't have to do, like, he may actually just be able to not tap his islands for a while.
Sure.
I mean, usually you're setting up with some of the sorcery speed cantrips, Preordain and Ponder in particular. Most of the rest of the deck is either I'm winning the game or I'm doing stuff at instant speed. I don't know. I mean, you obviously bring in the chokes, you bring in the Trinispheres, you bring in the spheres, you cross your fingers. Oh, Caracas! That is a relevant land.
Oh, because you can just keep bouncing the...
How does that work? Is there a time? I guess you have to bounce it inside combat, but before it attacks. So you don't get annihilated, and they can't recast the Emrakul, but they just keep getting Time Walk triggers. It doesn't even work.
It works once.
No, it doesn't work. I mean, you never get annihilated, but they get a million Time Walks.
Yeah, well, you do get annihilated next turn because you're tapped.
Oh, you're tapped, yeah. It works once, okay. Caracas doesn't actually help because they're casting the Emrakul and getting the Time Walk turns.
Right.
Glacial Chasm doesn't help because it reduces the damage, but it gets annihilated. Yeah, the Annihilator just solves so many of the problems that could potentially thwart the kill.
And, you know, coming soon to a standard format near you. You know, we're Battle for Zendikar coming up.
You're expecting the giant Eldrazi monsters to be involved in a set?
I hope so. We've already seen one. We've already seen Oblivion Sower previewed. You know, in the battle decks or clash decks. So, you know.
Chad points out that the one place where Omniscience can beat Trinisphere is you can still delve your dig through time.
Sure.
To pay the 3 that way.
Yeah. You still have to pay the extra, but you can just.
But you can do it with delve.
Yeah. So really, and is there anything that Akash can do? Well, I guess he can get Taxian Probe, so he can just sort of know if he's going to get. He can probe before he show and tells, and know that the Trinisphere is coming.
He's also got Force of Wills in his deck.
Yeah.
I mean, and Spell Pierces, right? He's got the ability to.
Like before he just goes show and tell. Like, I'm going to just show and tell on turn 3. What can go wrong?
Yeah.
Or he can get Taxian Probe first. So.
That's true. He also. Does he have any ability to blow up? He has a Rushing River. So he can potentially bounce a Trinisphere if he needs to.
Sure. He can survive. He can bounce it at the end of the next turn.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, look, if you Omniscience and they show down a Trinisphere, say go.
Right.
Like, do they have a 2020 Indestructible Flyer yet?
Right.
No? Guess what? I'm willing to pay 3 for Emrakul next turn after I untap my lands.
That's not concede territory. You can still just win this game.
Right, but I mean, Kevin's going to have either a choke or a Dark Depths ready in order to actually win the game, even after he gets Trinisphere down.
All right, so Kevin King is going back to the well for 6 new cards. Looks like Akash likes his 7. Got a broken sleeve there as well. He's not sideboarding again, he's just replacing a broken sleeve. Akash likes his hand, he's like, oh, I can't wait to play these cards.
This Omnitell deck, by the way, there's only the 1 copy of it in the top 8, right?
Yes.
But there were multiple others in the top 32. If you look, Stibs actually last night just started banging out deck lists. All 32 of the legacy deck lists are already posted. Were posted as of like 1 a.m. last night.
Okay, and those are on the dailymtg.com?
Yeah, exactly. And linked through. I found the link on Twitter. But about 1 a.m. last night, Stibs posted links not just to the top 8 deck list, but the entire top 32 is typed up already. Yeah, and multiple Omnitells floating around there. Multiple lands decks too. Like only 1 land's in the top 8, but it was also 9th and 10th.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's several lands decks, several Omnitell decks. It's a pretty interesting mix of decks, but those were the 2 that struck me as, okay, you know, it may look like an all Delver field based on this top 8, but like many copies of these decks were running around the top of the Swiss. So
Richard Import leads things off for Kevin King, who mulliganed to 6. He's like, Akash, like, let's see what you have going on here.
Croson Grips.
Is that 2 Croson Grips and an Exploration?
What's on the far left, yeah.
He's got Wasteland, Thespian Stage,
6 total cards, right? It's a mulligan draw.
No colored mana.
Man, does Crossing Grip even beat the Omniscience combo? Like, when you show and tell, you as the active player get priority first. You get to cast a free thing before they can even respond with Crossing Grip.
But let's say that free thing is Cunning Wish.
Sure. If you have the Emrakul in hand, you'll get it out. If you have to access the Emrakul with your card drawing, then Crossing Grip beats it.
So Preordain from Akash after the probe.
Draws a Taiga.
Taiga just cast Life from the Loam.
It's like he cycled it but didn't get to draw a card.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh, by the way.
Wow, City of Traders. He can turn to it.
Yes, he's going to turn to it.
Oh, boy.
Show and tell. What do you have?
Nothing.
He's like, I've got Omniscience.
I saw your hand last turn.
Here's an Emrakul. I've cast it. And that's the game. Akash Naidu, the turn 2 kill with show and tell.
That was crazy. He just drew it.
He just casts
4 cards.
Turn 2 Emrakul.
It only took 4 cards.
It's like,
5 cards. 5 cards.
Sorry about taking all those extra turns, bud.
Omnitell into the finals. Wow.
Woo. There you go. Wow, that was
fast.
Yeah, we talked about, obviously Eternal formats, you talk a lot about turn 1 kills, turn 2 kills. Turn 1 kill more the province of Vintage.
I was expecting to see those later today. Even the turn 2s don't happen that often in Legacy.
But that was a pure turn 2 kill. He's like, well, you mulligan. I looked at your hand. It was kind of poopy. Like, sure, I understand why you kept it.
Look, now, technically, there was a time walk turn involved.
Sure. Yeah.
Technically.
Right, he probably didn't actually die until turn 4.
Correct.
Right.
But, yes. Somehow, Emrakul gets to the stack a lot. Doesn't resolve very often.
Yeah.
It's his special power.
So, we have Kyle Roan and Bob Huang playing right now. They're in game 2 still. And if it goes to game 3, we're going to bring that to you.
Yep.
But if it doesn't go to game 3, we'll be bringing you the finals between Grixis Delver and Omnitell. So let's talk a little bit about that matchup, because that's where we're headed no matter what.
Right. Now, the Grixis Delver decks are not exactly the same, right? One guy's got Gurmag Anglers. Bob Huang does have a couple Gurmag Anglers.
Oh, that's
the big
exciting.
zombie fish. Delve's a big deal. 1 mana 5/5. Go. They're both on Deathrite Shaman, right? Yeah, they're both on 4 Deathrites, along with their Delvers and Young Pyromancers and Cantrips. I'm trying to think what else. So Kyle won game 2. Does that force game 3?
Okay, so we're going to get a game 3? Oh, awesome. Okay, so we are setting up to bring you game 3 of the Bob Huang, Kyle Rowan, Grixis Delver mirror match.
Yeah, 4 Ponder, 4 Days is mirrored, 1 Forkbolt is mirrored, 1 Spell Pierce is mirrored, Delvers and Pyromancers. It's... Okay. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Bob Huang won the match.
Since we brought you that update, Bob Huang has won the match. So what that means is we're going to be bringing you the finals next, which is going to be Bob Huang playing Grixis Delver. So is that Gurmag Anglers or no?
Yes, that is Gurmag Anglers.
Gurmag Anglers in the finals of the Legacy Championship.
That's funny. I'm trying to figure out what Kyle has in those 2 spots. Like, what cards does...
More mana?
Maybe. Like, I haven't found the spell. It must be more mana. 10.
Yeah, everything looks pretty identical other than the anglers.
I can't find it. They both got 18 lands. They both have 2 dig through time.
So maybe there's just maybe there's a missing anglers on this deck list. Is it possible? So, all right. Well, we're gonna pour over the deck list. We're gonna move things around, get everyone set up for the finals. We're gonna be back very quickly with the finals here between Kevin King's, between Akash Naidu's
Omnitell.
deck. Remember, Akash Naidu, 9th place at the largest legacy event ever. Kind of a heartbreaker for him.
Yeah.
4,000 person
Playing
legacy Grand Prix.
this
This deck. This is his deck. And he feels vindicated here.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as cons came out, we talked to him yesterday. He's like, this dig through time card seems absurd.
This seems stupid.
I'm just going to play Omnitell with dig through time. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So he's through to the finals. He's looking to sort of get that taste of that 9th place finish out of his mouth. 2nd place tastes as bad as 9th place at this point. So he really just wants to win. He'll be up against Grixis Delver. We'll find out how that's going to play out. We will be back as soon as they are ready with the finals from the Legacy Championships here at Eternal Weekend. Randy Buehler, Brian David Marshall.